If you Google cheap apartments in Japan, you'll probably come across websites like Leo Palace or Gaijin Pot Apartments, and a lot of them tend to be overpriced for what you're getting. So today I'm going to introduce 3 really great websites, show you how to navigate them, and show you how you can get a much better deal if you want to get an apartment in Japan. So to start with, I'm going to give you a quick tour of my apartment, and I'm going to show you the website that I use to get this place, so if you like it, you'll be able to find one like it yourself. And this place costs 62,000 yen, which at the time I'm shooting this video is less than 420 US dollars. This where I am now is one of the bedrooms, but let's go take a look at the rest of the place. So this is our living room, and like a lot of Japanese apartments, it has tatami on the floor, which are these traditional Japanese mats. They're very comfortable to sit on or walk around on. The room that I showed you just a moment ago also has the same flooring. And here up ahead is our kitchen slash dining room. We don't actually use it as a dining room, we just use it as a kitchen, and our daughter kind of runs around in here. Just behind me there is a balcony. It's like most balconies in Japan, it's not really used for sitting on or hanging out, it's just used for drying laundry. So there's a big pole and you can do that out there. Also off from the side of the kitchen we have another small balcony, which is kind of too small to do anything with really, but sometimes we just stand out there and have a look around. Okay, next, this very large room is what we use for my daughter's bedroom. Maybe it doesn't make sense, she's the tiniest person in the house, but we use this very big room for her. The reason is it's actually the most soundproof room. It has nice thick walls and a thick door, so when she's sleeping in here we know that we won't bother her. This is our toilet, and like a lot of apartments in Japan, it has a washlet, which means you can get your bum nice and clean after you've done a poop. And back here, this is our utility room slash teeth brushing area. It's pretty standard in Japan, and just behind it is our actual bathroom where we have the bath and the shower. So that's our place. It's pretty big for a Japanese apartment, and considering it's only about 12 minutes to get from our door to the city center of a major city in Japan, it's a pretty good price. So let's take a look at how you can get a place like this. So this is the company that I found my current apartment with, and I'm going to show you around their website a little bit. So you'll see here that it's in Japanese. So if you don't read Japanese, I'm afraid there is not an English website. However, if you scroll down to the bottom, you will see that there is information about UR rental housing in English. And if you click that, here is all the documents you need and all the kind of legal stuff that you might want to understand. You can see here that it says you must be a Japanese national or a foreign national with the qualifications required by UR. You just need to have your ID, like your Zairyu card, or you need to have evidence that you have a visa, that's it. Something else that's quite important, it says at the bottom here that you can't be a member of an organized crime unit. So although it might be tempting, please don't join the Yakuza if you want to find an apartment in Japan. And here it says you need documented evidence of income. But something that's really great about this company is you can actually pay for a whole year's rent at one time, and then you don't need to provide any documents at all. I actually did that this time. I was living in Okinawa and I was working freelance online, so getting evidence of my income was kind of difficult. So I just paid upfront for 1 year, and then they didn't need any evidence of a job or my bank account or anything like that. So if you have enough money to do that, that makes this process quite easy. Okay, let's take a look at how to search for an apartment on here. So if we go back to the main website, up at the top here, you have all the different regions where they have apartments in purple. So if you don't speak Japanese, you can just Google translate the website, but you'll see that these kind of graphics won't translate. It will only translate the text that's on the actual page. But this is just a map, so you can just look up the kanji for the place that you want to move to, or you can just look on a map, see where it is, and click on that place. So I imagine a lot of you are going to be interested in Tokyo, so let's click on that. And then on the next page, you'll see you can search by train station, you can search by area, or you can search by the map. And even if you can't read Japanese, I think this is quite obvious from the pictures, so we can click on that. If we want to search by map, And here you've got the conditions, and this text will translate if you use the Google Translate function on the page. So if you want to choose an upper limit for your rent, which I imagine a lot of you do, you can do that here. So rent in Tokyo can cost almost double what it does in other big cities. So let's put it at 80,000 yen per month so we can actually find something. And here, if you want to choose the size of apartments, you can do that too. Japan has a nice convenient way of understanding the size of apartments by using this kind of code. So the number means the amount of rooms, kind of like bedrooms. And then you'll also see K, which means kitchen, D, which means dining room, or L, which means living room. So a really big apartment like this one will be 4LDK, which is 4 rooms, a living room, a dining room, and a kitchen. If you looked for that in Tokyo, it would be very expensive. Let's just set the price at under 80,000 and let's see what comes up. So if we have a look at the map, you'll see that a lot of them are not available because everybody's rushing to Tokyo. So the gray ones are not available. The red ones are the ones that are available. For someone who's colorblind like me, it's a little bit hard to see the difference. But if we click on one of these, we can see here that the price this is not too bad for Tokyo. So we can see here, this is a 3K. So it's got 3 rooms and a kitchen, and it only costs 64,000 yen. The reason this one is a bit cheaper, because as you can see from the map, it's a little bit far from a train station. I actually used to live in Kichijoji, which is this train station here. There's a really nice area. So especially this area is very, very nice. So actually being able to live anywhere close to that for this price is actually pretty good, even if you do need to walk to the train station. If we have a look at this is the layout, and every apartment you look at in Japan will have a picture like this which shows the layout. And you can see here, this says it's a Western room, which basically just means it has flooring instead of tatami. It just has like wooden flooring. And then you've got a Japanese room here, Japanese room here, which just means it has tatami on the floor, which you can easily tell from the picture. And then here you've got the kitchen, and of course you'll have a bathroom and a toilet. And basically 99% of apartments in Japan have bathtubs because Japanese people really like baths. And as I said earlier, if you do Google Translate this, you'll be able to read the page in English. And yeah, this apartment is on the 5th floor, which is nice. It'll be nice and quiet up there. It says you need to pay 2 months of deposit, and it will have the kind of other information about like what's around the neighborhood and what kind of facilities you have in the apartment. So as I just said, you do need to pay a deposit, but a good thing with this website is there's no other fees. There's no agency fee, and there's no key money or kind of gift money, which is this strange thing that you have to pay to landlords in Japan. Sometimes you just have to say, hey, thanks for letting me give you money every month. Here's another sum of money for nothing that you'll never get back. But websites like you don't have to pay that, which is really great because there's quite a lot of that in Japan. And this is what the inside of that looks like. That's a 360 view you can do. Bathtub looks pretty nice, and looks like a pretty decent apartment for the price. As usual, you'll see tatami floors, these big wardrobes that they have in Japan called oshiire, and that's where normally people store their futons and things like that. And yeah, it looks pretty good. As I said, Tokyo is pretty expensive, so I just want to quickly show you how cheap it can be with websites like this. So if we go back to the main screen, and if we look at somewhere that's a bit more in the countryside, like if we look at Hokkaido, for example, and this is Sapporo, which is still a big city. It's got about 2 million people. If we put the rent price down a bit, so let's have a look at less than 65,000 per month. And we can even set it so we can see some bigger apartments. So let's put from 2 LDK up, which is 2 bedrooms, a living room, a dining room, and a kitchen. And let's see if we can find anything. So here we are, that's quite close to the city center. The city center is right here. Doesn't look too far from a train station. And here we've got apartments that are 3 bedrooms, dining room, and a kitchen. And they cost less than 50,000 yen. And we can see here the layout's not bad. We've got 3 Japanese rooms. We've got a dining room, kitchen here. Of course, we've got the bathroom and toilet, and it's up on the 6th floor, which is nice. You'll have a nice view, and it looks like pretty nice apartment inside. And as I said, this is still pretty close to the city, so if you're someone that works online and you don't really care about where you live, or if you just want to live in the countryside, I've even seen apartments on here that can be like 30,000 yen, which is incredibly cheap, and you'll have a nice place and you'll be able to save a lot of money and you'll be able to enjoy that kind of Japanese country experience as well. So that is UR, that's the company that I'm using at the moment. As I said, I'll put a link below for that, but just in case you're curious, I'll show you some other options because you might have a look around on there and you might not find something exactly like you want. So there is a very similar company that's called Village House. This is Village House, and their website is available in English, so that might make it a bit easier for those of you that can't read Japanese. And as you can see, the same as you are, they don't need handling fees or key money or renewal fees, and some of the apartments don't even need a deposit, but that's not all of them. However, one downside with Village House is the contract is 2 years, and if you break the contract, I think if I remember, it's 3 months rent you have to give up if you break it in the first year, and if you break it in the second year you have to give them an extra 2 months rent, and that's a lot of money. But as you can see here, it says rent starting from 20,000, so same as you are, it's incredibly cheap if you have a look in some more countryside areas, and you can just click on the map and you can set your conditions. So if you want a really cheap place, you can put 30 to 40,000, and you can do this same thing on UR as well. And then you can just click on these and you can see where these very cheap apartments are. They're saying here that they have some very cheap ones in, okay, it's not quite in Tokyo. It's in Chiba or like Saitama, which is next to Tokyo. But even around Tokyo, so not in Tokyo, but even around Tokyo, they have some incredibly cheap apartments. So here we see 37,000 to 46,000. This is in Chiba, so it's not in Tokyo, but you would be able to get to Tokyo quite easily. And as you can see, the apartments are quite similar looking to the apartments on UR. So Village House is another option. As I said, the reason I chose UR is because they have this nice thing where you can just pay for a whole year up front and you won't need to provide any documents. And also it's only a 1-year contract instead of a 2-year contract like it is on Village House, but also another good option for you to have a look through. And of course, I'll put a link down below for this one as well. And just quickly, I want to show you one cool website for anyone that's interested in moving to Osaka. And that is a website called AB Housing. With AB Housing, it's just a 3-month contract, and you can actually get the apartment before you even come to Japan. So when I first came to Japan, I did move to Osaka, and this was an amazing service. I had the apartment ready to go before I even arrived in the country. I arrived at the nearby train station. The guy, he's a nice Dutch guy that runs this. He even came and picked me up from the train station, took me to the apartment. Everything was switched on and ready to go. The internet, the electric, all those things. I didn't have to do any kind of paperwork and stuff at the beginning, and I could just start living in the apartment. And then I could stay there for just 3 months, and after that it was a month-to-month contract. So it's a really great service. They do cost a little bit more than the other apartments that I just showed you, but if you want that kind of convenience, if you want an apartment ready to go, and if you are moving to Osaka, then AB Housing is really great. But it's a really great service. It'd be really nice if there were other companies like this in other cities, but Osaka is the only city I know of that has a company like this. So I hope one of those sites can help you find what you're looking for. If you have any questions or if you have any information yourself that you'd like to share, then please comment below. If it's your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button because I'm going to be putting up more videos with information about how to live in Japan and also about how to study Japanese. If you found this useful, please hit the like button and I'll see all of you back here next time.